Have you noticed people thinning out of your life lately? A friendship that used to be central has quietly cooled, and you cannot point to a fight, cannot name a betrayal, it has just faded. Someone you expected to stay simply did not. And underneath all of it, if you are honest, there is a guilt you have been carrying. Because part of you has been relieved. Part of you has secretly wanted some of these people gone, and you do not know if that desire makes you a bad Christian or a healthier one. Beloved, let me take that guilt off you tonight. Before God brings the right person into your life, He does something quieter first. He clears the house. Not because the people leaving were evil, not because they were worthless, but because the room is being made ready for someone worth the space. And clearing a house always looks like loss before it looks like preparation. The rooms get emptier before they get fuller, barer in the middle of the cleaning than they were before you started. Think about what you do before an honored guest comes to stay in your home. You clean. You move the furniture that has been sitting in the wrong place for years. You clear the clutter that piled up when no one important was coming. Not because the clutter was shameful, but because the guest is worth the room. That is exactly what God is doing with your life right now. And if everything has been feeling barer lately, you are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. There are 3 kinds of people God moves out before He sends your husband. And I need you to hear me clearly from the start. Not one of them is being thrown out like trash. The first kind are the people who fit who you used to be. Some of them were a perfect match for an earlier chapter. Some of them are simply heavy, the friend who only calls to complain, the group whose conversations never rise above gossip and grievance, the people you spend time with out of habit rather than joy, the ones you leave feeling emptier than when you arrived. You are not cruel for noticing this. You are awake. Think of Abraham and Lot. They traveled together for years. Lot was not Abraham's enemy. He was family, a companion through the entire journey. But there came a point where the land simply could not hold both of them. Genesis 13 tells us something remarkable about what happened next. It was after Lot separated from Abraham that God said to him, "Lift up your eyes, all the land you see, I will give it to you." The expansion of the promise came after the separation. The companion had to go before the land could be given. Some of the people drifting out of your life right now are Lots, not villains. Just companions from a chapter that is closing, people who fit the old you and cannot follow you into what God is expanding. Proverbs 13:20 says, "He that walks with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." God is not asking you to hate anyone. He is making room for you to walk with people who make you wiser, not smaller, because the man He is bringing walks at an altitude, and He is lifting you to walk there too. The conversations that used to entertain you will start to drain you. The rooms that used to feel comfortable will start to feel low. That is not you becoming cold. That is God making the small rooms feel small so that you go looking for higher ceilings. The second kind is harder. It is the name that will not die, the ex. The situationship that never became anything, but also never properly ended. The name that resurfaces through a text at midnight, through a story you keep checking, through a memory that ambushes you when you least expect it. The attachment you have tried to break on your own and could not. This kind is different from the first. The people who keep you small, God often removes for you. They drift, they fade, they move on. But the name that will not die usually requires something from you too. Here is what God does on His side. He loosens the grip. He quenches the appetite. Over time, He lifts the attachment so that one day you realize you have not thought about them in weeks. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new." God genuinely removes the power of that name over your heart. That part is His work, and He does it faithfully. But He will not keep typing your replies for you. He will loosen your grip, but He will not reach over and stop your hand from reopening the door at 11 at night when you are lonely and the wrong thing suddenly looks warm. Picture your phone lighting up. The name on the screen is the one that will not die. Your thumb hovers. Beloved, that is the moment this whole message lives in. God has been doing His part for months. And now there is a door in front of you. And the question is not whether He closed it, it is whether you will reopen what He already closed. Set the phone down. Leave it unanswered. The strength to do that is not your willpower. It is the gift He is handing you in exactly that moment. Take it. The third kind is the hardest to deal with, because it is not the kind you can walk away from. These are the voices closest to you, sometimes inside your own family. The relative who asks every holiday why you are not married yet. The parent whose worry has curdled into pressure. The person who, without meaning to be cruel, keeps reinforcing the story that you have been left behind, that something must be wrong with you, that the clock is running out. I am not going to tell you to cut off your family. That is not what this is. But hear this. God can remove the power of a voice without removing the person of not. Think of Hannah. She had a rival in her own household, Peninnah, who provoked her year after year about the very thing Hannah longed for most. Anna could not remove Peninnah. They lived in the same house. But there came a day in 1 Samuel 1 when Hannah poured out her heart to God. And the text says something that stops you in your tracks. Her countenance was no more sad. Her face changed. Peninnah was still there. The provocation had not stopped. But the power of it over Hannah's heart had been broken before her circumstances changed at all. That is what God does with the voices you cannot remove. He does not always take the person away. Sometimes He takes away their power. He makes their words bounce off a heart He has armored. The aunt may still ask. The parent may still worry. But God can lift the weight their words carry, so that you stand in the room and the death they speak no longer lands. If there are voices in your life you cannot walk away from, you do not have to. Ask God to remove their power instead. That is a removal He specializes in. So, beloved, let me bring this home. The people who keep you small, the name that will not die, the voices that speak death. 3 kinds of people God moves out of the house before He brings the guest in, and none of them are being thrown out like trash. The friend from the old chapter is not garbage. The family member who pressures you is not your enemy. God is not condemning anyone in this clearing. He is clearing the way you clear a room before someone you love comes to stay. Not because the clutter was evil, because the guest is worth the space. And there is one more clearing I have to tell you about. End quote. Because the last person God quietly moves out before He sends your husband is not someone else at all. It is a version of you. There is a version of you that was shaped by the waiting, a version that grew tired that lowered her standards in the quiet places, that started to believe she would have to take whatever she could get. A version that, if the wrong man had shown up at the wrong moment, would have said yes out of loneliness instead of out of discernment. God retires her, too. You feel it as a self-respect that seems to have appeared from nowhere, a strange new unwillingness to settle. That is not you becoming proud. That is God removing the woman the right man was never meant to meet and finishing the one he was. Philippians 1-6 says, "He who began a good work in you will perform it." Part of performing that work is letting the old version of you go. So, if your life has felt barer lately, if the rooms have been emptying, if people have been drifting, if you have been carrying guilt about the ones you quietly wanted to release, beloved, set the guilt down. You are not becoming cold. You are not pushing everyone away. You are not unlovable. The house is being cleaned. And a house is only ever cleaned this carefully when someone worth the room is on his way. God is clearing the house. Trust the clearing. They can't stay, and that is not your cruelty. It is His preparation. If this message took some guilt off of you tonight, drop this in the comments. He's clearing the house. As a witness to yourself that the thinning of your relationships is not your failure, it is His preparation. And if you have a sister who has been carrying that same guilt, send her this. Tell her she is not cold. Tell her God is just clearing the house the way you clear a room before someone worth the space comes to stay. And if this message blessed you, remember to like, subscribe, and share so others can be strengthened by the Word of God.